only the House and the Speaker would take our lead. And the reason for all of this deference is to show you that members of Congress can do what is right for the American people. I am sad to be able to stand with these distinguished gentlemen because I wish that this task did not befall us, did not come to us. For the sequester is a legislative default whose time has come and gone. It is reckless, it is irresponsible, and I am most impressed that we were able to use the legislative skill with one sentence to cancel through H.R. 900 and the leadership of my chairman, John Conyers, and the leadership of the Congressional Progressive Caucus and the Congressional Black Caucus, one sentence, H.R. 900, and I must say that it is legally based and legally founded. For many of you may not know that Mr. Conyers has tenure as chairman and ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee. It simply says to eliminate that provision from the Budget Reconciliation Act. And I want to thank the hundreds of thousands of those who have petitioned, and I want to explain very briefly why this is the only way to go. For now, in the series of meetings that we welcome that have been an expression of the President's extending of the hand of friendship, after one meeting, leadership came out of the Republican meeting and said, if we are to talk about revenue, there is no deal. In the meantime, just let me tell you that we are losing teachers in schools. Texas will lose some $70 million in primary and secondary education, 930 teachers and aid jobs. Children education for children with disabilities across America will be a victim of losing dollars. Head Starts, who have already been on the Hill, have said we are desperate, we will lose positions. Small Head Starts will close. It is important to note that child care for disadvantaged and vulnerable children, for working moms and working families, will be extinguished. And for those whose memories fade, I want you to be reminded of the tsunami, for it does not give notice. And it is tragic and reckless for those to say, you know what? The sequester has started and I feel pretty good. Because you have not been hit by the tsunami. And it may come at a moment, Mr. Grayson, when we are away on work recess, or when the Speaker has sent us home and we're not here working. And all of a sudden, a great percentage of America will be walking around without benefits, without child care, without teachers in our schools, and we'll ask the question, what happened? It was a tsunami of the sequester. And so I want to just show you some of the families in community health clinics who are going to be suffering when these clinics have to be closed. Compound that with a budget that has been produced by the Republicans that takes 60% of its revenue out of the backs of the Affordable Care Act by both extinguishing it and causing us to lose resources. And so H.R. 900, if I might compliment these colleagues, is a genius. Because what it does is it brings us back to the point of coming around the table and looking constructively at how we spend and how we prioritize the needs for the American people. Let me just say this last point that is crucial. People who are sick are dependent upon the NIH. And in the sequester right now, as the tsunami approaches us, over $1 billion, almost $2 billion, will stop the NIH in its tracks. It is reckless for us to say we're just doing fine and to rely upon the American people who get up every morning and get on a bus and get to work to be able to see out front when the tsunami is coming. It's our responsibility, and H.R. 900 is the right story, the right action, the right time to save American lives. I can't imagine that we would abandon the American people, from veterans and returning soldiers to mothers who get up on buses and fathers who get up on buses simply trying to provide for a child who needs love, that we would not pass H.R. 900, I join my colleagues right now in asking the Republican leadership to place this on the agenda immediately. And I would add, work, work, work. Let us stay here this weekend and pass H.R. 900.
Congressman Alan Grayson, Florida, 2 terms.
I used to run a law firm, and an associate at the law firm gave me a brief once that's 40 pages long. And I said, this brief should be maybe 10 pages long. Why is this brief 40 pages long? She said, I ran out of time. And looking at this bill, you can imagine how much time and effort went into this, days, weeks, maybe months, to find a way to cut the Gordian knot here, to make a simple solution to a knotty problem that represents in a deep way where we are as a country right now. America is the most powerful, most wealthy country in the entire world. In fact, we're the wealthiest, most powerful country in history. And we're doing something that can only be called ticky-tacky here with regard to the sequester. Cutting Head Start money by 9%, cutting Meals on Wheels by 9%, cutting air traffic control by 9%, which, by the way, will lead to the closure of the closest airport to Disney World, Kissimmee Airport. We're doing all these things, and we're doing them to ourselves. We are, in fact, the most powerful country in the world. We've reached the point in our evolution where the worst things that happen to us, the worst things that ever happen to America, are the things that we do to ourselves. And this is one of them. It's not necessary. It doesn't serve any purpose. I know all the fear-mongering that goes on from the Republicans about the debt, the deficit. It's interesting to listen to them about this. They're both for it and against it. They've got the Mitt Romney position on this sequester. They like it, but they don't like it. And the same thing is true of how they feel about it with regard to the long effects it will have. They created it, but unusually for them, they're not yet willing to destroy it, unless it destroys all of us. This bill, the sequester bill, it's going to rob us of 750,000 jobs at a minimum. And what is the purpose? These across-the-board cuts are mindless cuts. What you're seeing in action right now is ADD government. This is government that is unable and certainly unwilling to concentrate on the problem enough to make intelligent, well-thought-out, well-founded cuts. And instead what happens is we lurch from crisis to crisis to crisis. I don't know how many of you noticed this, but in the last quarter, the U.S. economy contracted. And if it happens 2 quarters in a row, including the quarter that we're now living through, then the U.S. economy will then officially be in recession again. The sequester is a punch in the face to the U.S. economy. It's a punch in the face to the recovery. It's fundamentally irresponsible to be doing this, and especially to be doing this to ourselves. We are not Greece. Our interest rates are not 25%. We're not Spain. We don't have 25% unemployment. We are a country of enormous talent, resources, capabilities, capital, and labor. And if we simply let all these things work together, if we simply let the economy heal itself, then everything will be fine. But you know, a cut cannot be a healing. There's no way that you could possibly cut your way to prosperity. And it's sad that we have to learn that lesson over and over and over again. So I'm very much in favor of this bill. I think it's a common sense solution, certainly a very brief solution to the problems that face us and the needs that we have. We have a $13 trillion economy without enough demand to keep it going. Why are we sapping the demand that we need to keep this economy going? Laying off firefighters, laying off teachers, laying off people involved in public safety, laying off TSA agents. It's crazy. It's just crazy. And it's just one more artificial crisis that's foisted on us by the Republican Party that seems to be addicted to crisis. They are crisis junkies. They're never happy unless we have another crisis right in our face, whether it's the debt ceiling, whether it's the continuing resolution, whether it's the budget, and whether it's the sequester. They're just not happy unless something bad is happening. Well, I think we have to move beyond that for the sake of all America. That's why I support this bill. Thank you.
Disney World is in his district, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to introduce Keith Ellison, member of Congress, originally from Detroit, but now Minnesota, and co-chair of the Progressive Caucus of the House of Representatives.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for this excellent bill. I do have one question of my friend Alan Grayson before he leaves.
Yes.
If I have a private jet, does it matter what happens with the public air safety at Kissimmee Airport?
Oh, well, that's a good question. Let me just answer that. Almost all the traffic that takes place at Kissimmee Airport, 129,000 flights a year, all of which will now have to be canceled. All those flights are generally private jets. But I will tell you this, when the president came to Orlando, the president went to Kissimmee Airport. Many people don't know this, but Disney was one of the targets on Al-Qaeda's short list for the 9/11 attacks. The air traffic control over Disney World is controlled by Kissimmee, and they're responsible for keeping it clear. If there ever is an attack at Disney World, in the same way that we saw at 9/11, it will be the air traffic controllers at Kissimmee that we rely upon to warn us and to try to stop it. So that's what we're giving up for these sequester tests. Do we really have to wait until a plane falls out of the sky to realize how wrong this is?
So I guess there might be some skin in the game after all. You know, let me just tell you, this sequester is a good idea because sequester was always an idea that was to be avoided. It was always a bad idea. You know, I can remember 2011 very well when we hit this looming threat of the debt ceiling. Republicans said, well, we are going to put the creditworthiness of the United States at risk, the full faith and credit of the United States. We're going to risk of defaulting unless you Democrats give us devastating cuts. And so we gave them some cuts, or they took them, either one of the two. I voted no, honored to have done that. But then they set up the super committee. Equal numbers of House, Senate, Republicans, and Democrats. Only problem is the Republicans had all signed up a pledge with Grover Norquist that they weren't going to raise any money when they knew going into negotiations that there was going to have to be balance. So you could have predicted it at the time, but the super committee failed. But there was a trigger. In order to make the super committee negotiate with each other, there was sequester, across the board cuts, military, domestic, and if they didn't come up with a deal, sequester would go into effect. It was always the cudgel, the stick that was supposed to beat the super committee into an agreement. But you know what? This thing from the very beginning was brought to us by people who believe that we need to shrink government to the size where you can drown it in a bathtub. These are always the anti-government types who don't accept that government of, by, and for the people, by the way, has any role in improving the lives of Americans. They ignore our interstate highway system. They ignore the GI Bill. They ignore investments in research and how the internet actually came from a government grant. They ignore the fact that the researching the human genome was a government grant. They ignore the fact that our public schools, police, fire, teachers, all these things are government, and they make and enrich our lives and make it so much better. They ignore all that, and they just say we need to cut government. And if times are good, they want to cut government. Times are bad, they want to cut government. Times are good and bad, cut government. Always the same message. So it doesn't surprise me at all that when last week I was reading articles where some of these guys were clicking the champagne glasses over sequester. Oh yeah, they were celebrating it. Oh yeah, we're glad. In fact, stories came out that at the Republican meeting, that both caucuses have a huddle at the beginning of every year, that Speaker Boehner was made to promise not to mess it up. Did y'all read those stories? So here we are trying to repeal sequester. All of the pain and the damage has been laid out. I'm not going to repeat that. But I'm just telling you, we're not in here by mistake. This is the culmination of someone's ideology, not mine and yours. and we should understand that because that is what we're up against to lift it. But I believe our superior numbers can overcome their superior dollars. And I believe that if we as Americans, how many petition signatures we have? 300,000? And that's just scratching the surface. We'll do way better than that. I believe that we can overcome those folks who literally want to cut government. Because as you know, if in a democratic society, we can elect representatives who can go to the Koch brothers and say, you will not pollute our waters. They can go to the big banks and say, you will not screw up our financial system. They can go to big guns and say, you're not going to proliferate these weapons of destruction around our neighborhoods. In a democratic society, we can make rules to do that. But what if we get rid of all the structures of democracy? What if we do that? Then we don't even have the institutions we need to stand up and protect the American people from improper financial pollution hazards and other sort of things that they run into. So this is why they're trying to cut government. We know that, but we're not going to let them do it. And we got 300,000 people who say that we're right, that the public sector in our democratic society has a critical and important role, and we're not going to let them chop it up with their sequester. We're going to repeal it with HR 900. Thank you.
Before we take 3 questions, I want to re-recognize Sheila Jackson-Lee from Texas.
Chairman Ellison said that we are getting more numbers, and so I believe that the 300,000 should hear our voices and seek to come to Washington at a time certain in the month of April. We have not done this since almost the Poor People's March. The 300,000 can begin to look to make their way here. And I can be assured and assure everyone that if 300,000 persons or a number of that kind shows up, HR 900 will pass and we will stop the tsunami.
Great idea. 3 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1.
Yeah, my name is John Street with CNSnews.com. Republicans say if we don't make cuts to reduce the deficit soon, that sequester cuts will actually be small compared to the cuts we would need to make if we continue on this track. Meanwhile, Pelosi has said that she doesn't think that we have a spending problem, and the White House has recently said that we shouldn't balance the budget just for the sake of balancing the budget. That said, by canceling sequester, would we then be manufacturing a larger crisis in the future?
Okay.
And if so, how would you justify those more severe cuts to the American people?
Beautiful question. Let you understand, first of all, that the debt is not endangering us a bit. Not at all. Our economists say we're in debt, but it's not endangering everything. As a matter of fact, there are economists that say some debt is not a bad idea at all. So all those ideas about the ceiling falling, the walls caving in because of that, you can sleep more comfortably in your bed at night when you realize that we don't think there's a problem. Do you want to comment?
Well, I'll just quickly say that the basis of the comments being made by our leadership is based on economists who've indicated that the austerity form that was used in Europe did not work. There are statistics that show that in England, they are losing more than what we're losing. We are servicing the debt. You remove the sequester, all it does is put it back into regular order for a budget and an appropriations process, which, by the way, has been the same process that we used to cut $1.2 trillion in the 2012 summer. So all we would be doing is directing the Congress with the President to do a priority-based cut versus an across-the-board cut to save some of the catastrophes that may happen. I'll give you this one example. On April 1st, there is supposed to be a change in TSA rules that you can carry a pocket knife. That hits dead on into the potential of TSO officers being laid off. What kind of common sense approach is that? And so an austerity approach is a wrong-headed approach. That's what sequester is on the back end. It's across the board, no thinking, and the tsunami is going to come.
Well, the European Union. Before we go to, who's question 2? Okay, but let's give all the people holding signs up a round of applause. Great job. Number 2.
All right, I'm glad that you brought up the European Union. My name is Leandra Bernstein. I'm with Executive Intelligence Review. And in Europe right now, there are very similar, it's a similar process to what's happening here with the austerity. And you raise the cuts to transportation, healthcare, Social Security, Medicare, all of these things. Well, those are all government obligations. The government currently has different obligations to large financial institutions. And I would like to know, first of all, it's a two-part question, what you think about cutting off the federal government's obligations to supporting the financial, the too big to fail banks, the speculative banks through a restoration of Glass-Steagall. And secondly, all of the speakers today have identified that it is impossible to cut our way out of a financial crisis. So would you support the reinstatement of Alexander Hamilton's concept of our first national bank, our constitutional first national bank, to create issue long-term credit on which we can begin to rebuild those other obligations that we have?
That's what the Federal Reserve does. And I am an
The
author.
Federal Reserve doesn't lend.
And I am an author of the Glass-Steagall bill, support it. And I quite agree with you that you cannot cut your way out of an economic recession. There's no question about it. Your comments?
I support Glass-Steagall.
Yes, good. Question
Anyone
3.
Yes, I have a question from Twitter, and that is, what are we going to do with the 300,000 signatures right now? What are you going to do with them?
What are we going to do, Attorney Darn? Oh, okay, here's our answer, man.
So immediately, we're delivering these to Speaker Boehner. That's what the purpose of this is today.
And we're inviting you to come over
Yes.
to the Speaker's office.
And that's actually only the start. As we know, the 300,000 Americans who have signed this is not the end of their involvement in pushing for H.R. 900. Exactly. This is a group of people who care passionately about protecting Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. They're going to be making phone calls. They're going to be coming to Washington. They're going to be working and making sure everyone knows and make sure that their voices are heard.
Great answer. Question number 4. Hi, Mike.
I had a follow-up for Representative Jackson. You made several references to a tsunami, and you said you cannot believe that we would not save American lives. I imagine you're being figurative in that quote. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Well, I had the tragic experience of going to the impacted area of the most recent tsunami of a couple of years back. We've had some since that time. And what you hear is that there was no immediate notice short of this approaching huge, if you will, weather activity. So the point is that there's a lot of commentary that says no one is feeling the sequester. No one has been impacted. And I said, that's not the responsibility of the American people. We are their notifiers. They have to get up every day and make a living. And we need to protect them from a pending tsunami. Because if we lose all of these teachers, we lose all these resources for disabled children, for Head Start, child care. If we lose $1.6 billion out of the National Institutes of Health, that is a tsunami. That's not lost today. It's a pending loss that will come if we follow through on these reckless across-the-board cuts. Military preparedness will be diminished, even though there is a 2013 funding in the CR on the defense. They still are subjected to those cuts. So that's my point. Our responsibility is to get in front of the American people as their representatives to protect them from a pending devastating experience that alters their basic lives of trying to survive.
That's what you mean by lives lost. You don't mean literally lives to be lost by the sequester.
Yeah.
Speak of defense ready.
I am not suggesting that the sequester will come as water over a particular city or area, but lives lost in terms of those who are impacted by the services that are necessary, both through health care and both through other resources that are necessary, the implementation of the Affordable Care Act. All of that is what my intent was.
Thank you. Question number 5.
Alex Olstein with Free Speech Radio News. I was hoping you could compare the Progressive Caucus budget to the House Republican budget, specifically in terms of health care and in terms of the military spending.
Well, they're opposite. I don't have the figures. Darner, do you have any figures? We can get them if you'll come to 2426. Our office will dig them up for you.
But in terms of values and...
Well, you know where, thanks for the question, but you know where the Progressive Caucus stands. It's the most progressive group of members of Congress in the House of Representatives. So they would be exactly opposite to the cuts of the Republicans. And you know, sequester is across the board. It cuts everything mindlessly, everything 9%. And if we were going to engage in cuts, which I don't support, we would at least do it in a thoughtful way, and that's not what's happening here. Thank you all very much. Let's talk to each other. Come on up. And I'm the only member left, so let's go. Great to see you all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're getting questions. I don't know, Pete, if you can direct some questions from the viewers. But why don't I just, I'm getting them on my phone, and I'll just do a little bit of a Q&A with you about what we just did here. So first of all, let me introduce myself, and then you can introduce yourself again. We have people watching on the live stream. Most of the folks who are watching at home actually are the part of the 300,000 who signed the petition. So I'm Alex Lawson with Social Security Works, and we partnered with you, and we've been working with you because we have these dual efforts that are pointed at the same place. So if you could just explain a little bit about what you're doing.
Sure. My name is Patrick Lester. I'm with the Center for Effective Government, and working with Alex and Social Security Works and some of the others who collected the 300,000 signatures, we circulated a very similar letter which has over 80 national organizations, including unions like AFL-CIO, AFSCME, educational organizations like the NEA, American AFT, a lot of human service oriented organizations and others who care very deeply about this set of issues. Large number of people represented by that, and it's a combination of both organizations and individuals. As one of our speakers said, it's people power versus money power, I think, to a certain extent, and that's certainly represented in the 300,000 and also in the organizations that have supported this legislation and this concept repealing the sequester today. So, do we have any questions coming in?
Yeah, and Daniel Marins is actually taking questions from the hashtag cancel the sequester and the hashtag sequester showdown. So one of the ones that was just asked is, what's the relationship with protecting Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid with canceling the sequester? So let me take the first crack at it and then turn it over to you. Because when we put this petition together, it really was focused on protecting Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid benefits from the grand betrayal, from the so-called grand bargain. And we see the sequester, as Representative Ellison really told the story of how the sequester came to exist. It's directly focused on creating pain so that cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid can be pushed through. And the thing about the sequester is that it's designed so that it seems like there's no other choice, right? It's either these devastating cuts to important programs like Head Start, child nutrition programs, and others, or you replace it with cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. But the reality, as Representative Conyers so eloquently showed, is that with a simple one-sentence bill, the Congress which created the sequester can also cancel the sequester. And so we're just, us and the 300,000 people who have signed the petition, along with Patrick and the organizations who are supporting this, are saying that, let's use some common sense here. This is a self-inflicted crisis. So let's get rid of it, and then we can come back, negotiate in good faith. We can actually do the job of the American people and get something done. But we don't have to do it in this false, self-created crisis with a bizarre name called the sequester.
The thing I'd add to that is sequestration actually affects Medicare. It's going to cut Medicare by 2%. It won't directly cut Social Security and Medicaid right away. That said, when people are talking about how do we replace the sequester, programs like Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security are very clearly on the table. And so obviously we would not like to see that. That's why we have a very simple message. Cancel the sequester, don't replace the sequester. Now's not the time, with this economy being what it is, to have those kinds of cuts. Have any other questions coming in?
Yes, and for this one I want to ask Mike Darner, if I can get his attention, but it was how many co-sponsors on the HR 900, the bill to cancel the sequester? And I believe I'm right, the number's growing every day, but it's 26 co-sponsors on HR 900. And it's not just co-sponsors from the Progressive Caucus. You're seeing a wide, broad range of members who are saying, you know what, we got to get rid of this thing. A lot of members who have military presence in their districts, and they're seeing, this is nonsense. These very blunt cuts. It's across the board. They're saying what we need to do. We don't need to replace it. We just need to get rid of it. It was a bad idea when it came up. It's a bad idea now. So I believe the latest number is 26 co-sponsors on the bill. So what we're here today to say is that you have broad congressional support, you have broad grassroots support, you have broad organizational support, all for canceling the sequester to protect our Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid systems. And do you have anything you want to add?
I think I'd add, if you have a lot of people who are interested in sequestration, which will affect a lot of programs, education, health research, list goes on and on. There's a resource that you might be interested in because you might want to know how exactly are these cuts being implemented. It's called sequestrationcentral.org. That's sequestrationcentral.org. That will relocate to a centralized website that is including information about education cuts, cuts in Homeland Security, cuts in mentioned education, meat inspections. It goes on and on across the board. If you'd like to find out how exactly these cuts are being implemented, that's a good place to go to. Do we have any other questions coming in? Looks like that might be it. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today.